18 months. That's how long it took Sarvam AI to go from startup idea to a $1.3 billion company. In May 2023, they were in stealth mode. Now they've closed a $234 million funding round led by HCLTech, India's newest AI unicorn. Sarvam isn't a ChatGPT clone or a niche tool. The founders came straight from Google's AI research labs. They knew what the world was missing and built it faster than big tech could iterate. The AI race has always been Silicon Valley versus China, with Europe maybe in third place. India never showed up, had the talent, had the engineers, had the hungry market, but no global AI champions. Until now, Sarvam's team speaks English, understands global markets, hired from everywhere. Most importantly, they built a product that makes sense for how the world actually uses AI. The funding came from serious conviction, HCLTech believes, plus international investors putting real capital behind them. That's not hype, that's a bet on something special. Here's where this gets really interesting. This round tells us something massive about where the next decade of AI innovation is heading. It's not coming from one country anymore, it's coming from everywhere. The global AI race just expanded. But first, you need to understand who Sarvam is and why $234 million was worth betting on this specific team. Meet Vivek Raghunnathan and Mayank Misra. These guys aren't first-time founders or ambitious kids experimenting in a garage. Vivek spent years at Google working on large language models, the systems that power things like translation and search. Mayank came from Google's research division, doing some of the deepest work in AI. These are people who have already contributed to the technology that runs the world. So when they left Google to start Sarvam, that was a signal they saw something Google wasn't addressing. Their founding thesis is simple but powerful. The big AI companies, OpenAI, Google, Meta, they're playing one game: make the biggest, fanciest models possible and hope everyone finds a use for them. But real businesses don't work that way. They need AI that fits their problem, speaks their language, works with their data. Sarvam's angle is different. They are saying, what if we build AI from the ground up for India? Not AI that works okay in India, but AI that loves India. AI trained on Indian languages, Indian contexts, Indian business problems. This isn't a small market niche. India has over 1.4 billion people. Almost everyone outside India speaks English. Inside India, you've got Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, Bengali, Marathi, Kannada. Most AI models, they are terrible at these languages. They stumble, they misunderstand, they miss cultural context. Sarvam saw the gap and said, let's own this. Let's build the AI company for India and use that as a beachhead to go global. This is their strategic advantage: solve India first, scale worldwide. So what exactly is Sarvam building? They call it Multimodal AI for India, which is fancy language for AI that understands text, images, audio and video all at the same time. Think about how you actually use AI. It's not just typing a question in ChatGPT. You're uploading photos, sharing voice messages, combining different types of information. Modern AI needs to handle all of that seamlessly. But here's the twist. Sarvam's doing it while deeply understanding Indian languages and Indian use cases. An example, imagine a small business owner in India who wants to analyze customer feedback. Some comes in Hindi, some in English, some is a voice message, some is a photo of a handwritten note. A regular AI model would struggle with the language switching and the mixed formats. Sarvam's system treats all of that as natural. It doesn't see language switching as weird, it sees it as how people actually communicate. They're also optimizing for the real constraints of the Indian market. Internet speeds aren't always fast. Phone data is expensive. So Sarvam is building models that are smaller, faster, more efficient than the bloated giants. You don't need a 100 billion parameter model to solve most business problems. You need a smart 10 billion parameter model that actually understands your language and your context. The technical achievement here is substantial. Creating multimodal models that work well in multiple languages is legitimately hard. Most AI research is monolingual by default. Theory is great, but investors bet on traction, customers using your product, paying for your product, telling their friends. Sarvam's already got that. They're working with Indian enterprises that actually need what they are building. A financial services company uses Sarvam to analyze customer feedback across multiple Indian languages, catching sentiment and issues that most AI systems would miss because the feedback wasn't in English. A logistics company is using it to process bills of lading and shipping documents that come in mixed Hindi and English. An e-commerce platform is using it for customer support, routing questions in multiple languages to the right agents. These aren't hypothetical use cases. These are real companies paying real money, and the fact that these customers exist, that's huge because it proves the gap Sarvam identified is actually worth solving. It's not a theoretical problem. It's a problem that's costing Indian businesses money right now. When an AI can't understand your customer's language, you either hire more support staff or you lose customers. Sarvam solves that. The founder story you'll hear from every tech publication is brilliant founders, amazing tech, raised lots of money. But the real story is always, do people actually want what you built? Are they willing to pay? Sarvam cleared that bar. They've got paying customers. They've got proof the product works. They've got a waiting list of enterprises wanting to integrate their AI. That's not luck. That's product market fit. A $1.3 billion valuation for an 18-month-old startup is eye-opening. How does it compare? OpenAI took longer to reach unicorn status, but that was in a different era before the AI boom. Anthropic, which is Claude's creator, took about 2 years to raise serious money, but didn't hit a unicorn valuation as fast as Sarvam. Inside India, there's Ola, which is in AI and robotics, but Ola's broader focus means they're not as specialized. Sarvam's more directly comparable to focused AI startups like Mistral in France or Perplexity in the United States, companies that built specific AI products to compete with or complement the big players. Both of those raised serious money at high valuations. The difference is geography and focus. Mistral and Perplexity are attacking the global market from day one. Sarvam is attacking India, the world's most populous country and one of the fastest-growing tech markets. That's a different strategy. Bigger TAM, total addressable market in some ways, but more focused execution. The other comparison that matters, speed. Sarvam hit unicorn status faster than almost any AI company we've seen. Why? The capital is flowing fast. Everyone's terrified of missing the AI wave. India's finally being recognized as a serious source of AI talent and innovation. And Sarvam executed at a pace most startups can't match. They didn't spend months perfecting something. They built, iterated, got customers, sold them on the vision. It's about speed and vision combined. Here's what most tech coverage misses. This round isn't just about one startup. It's a signal about the future of global AI dominance. For a decade, the narrative has been, America has OpenAI and Google, China has Alibaba and others. Europe has some things but is mostly behind. India was the place where companies outsourced work. India was where engineers went to build someone else's product. Not anymore. What Sarvam represents is India saying, we can build the future here. We can innovate here. We can own the category here. HCLTech leading the round isn't random. HCLTech is India's connection to global enterprise customers. They are saying, we need AI that works in India, and we're betting serious money on Sarvam to lead. This matters geopolitically because AI is becoming the technology of the next generation. Every country that doesn't develop domestic AI leadership is essentially ceding future economic power. India's making a move. China made moves years ago. Europe is trying to catch up with regulations. The United States is trying to maintain dominance. And now India's saying, we are building our own champions. One unicorn doesn't change everything, but it's the first domino. If Sarvam succeeds, if they become a global company, it changes perceptions. It changes where capital flows. It changes where talent wants to work. And that's where things get really complicated because it means the global AI race just became multipolar. It's not America versus China anymore. If you're trying to understand the current AI funding landscape, why some startups raise massive rounds and others don't, Sarvam teaches us a few things. First, specialized beats generalist right now. When OpenAI raised its first money, being a general AI lab made sense. Now, there are 50 general AI labs, but there's exactly one company building multimodal AI specialized for Indian languages and use cases. That specificity is defensible. It's hard to copy. It's hard to compete with because you'd need to start from zero and you'd be a fast follower, not a first mover. Second, market opportunity matters more than cleverness. Sarvam's AI might not be more technically advanced than Google's models. Actually, it's probably less advanced in raw terms, but it's aimed at a problem Google's not solving. A problem with 1.4 billion people. That's a bigger business than 10,000 people using your super clever technology. Investors care about business. Third, execution velocity is a competitive advantage. Sarvam went from idea to revenue to unicorn valuation faster than expected. That sends a signal. These founders move fast. They don't get bogged down. They iterate. They ship. The venture capitalists see that and think, if they move this fast at 18 months, imagine what happens when they are 3 years in. This is why serious investors showed up. They're not betting on Sarvam being the greatest AI ever made. They're betting on Vivek and Mayank building a multi-billion-dollar business at a pace that surprises everyone. That's the real bet. So here's what this means for you as someone who cares about AI and technology. Sarvam's funding round is part of a bigger change. The AI revolution isn't just Silicon Valley's anymore. It's not just China's. It's happening everywhere. The age of one or two companies controlling AI is over. We're heading into an era where dozens of serious companies are building AI for different markets, different languages, different use cases. India's stepping up. Europe's investing billions. South Korea's investing. Canada's investing. Every region is saying, we need our own AI champions. That's healthier for the world. It means faster innovation, more competition, better products. For Sarvam specifically, watch them. This round is just the beginning. They'll need to prove they can scale beyond India to global markets. They'll need to compete with big players who will eventually copy what they are doing. But if any startup has the talent, the capital, and the market timing to pull it off, it's this one. The next few years matter. If Sarvam becomes a $10 billion company, it changes the narrative forever. If they struggle, they're a cautionary tale. Either way, they're worth paying attention to. The global AI race just became a lot more interesting. Follow for daily AI news to stay ahead of what's happening next.